Hola, buenos dias.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estella.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. Welcome to today's episode. So I did not know this, but I don't know if anybody else or if you realized that last episode was episode 50. 50.
No, this is episode 550.
No, that's not what the app told me. The little thing.
No, because that includes a little bonus episode that we did after the
so this is 50.
Yes.
So this is episode 50.
Yes,
oh my
yes.
God.
Yeah.
We're halfway to 100. Thank you for everybody's support. And I think that I'm excited. I'm excited for 50,000 more.
Oh, 50,000?
50,000. I think we do it.
50,000?
50,000. That's
in this lifetime?
In this lifetime.
Yeah.
I think we could do it. So anyway, today's episode is brought to you by the letter me. So we will be discussing the very sad story of Latisha Frazier.
Okay.
Have you heard of her?
The name doesn't sound familiar, but maybe once you start talking about the story, se me, capto.
Okay. So if everybody doesn't mind grabbing their cafecitos, and let's get started. Today's story, we are going to the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. We've been to Washington, so this was actually
with Robert
cool.
Rome.
Yeah, but today's fun, interesting, random fact about Washington is that the Lincoln Memorial is famous for more than just honoring Honest Abe. As we know, 2 years after that he was assassinated, the actual memorial was constructed for him in the year 1914. Mm-hmm. And this was also famous because it's where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made his speech of I Have a Dream in 1963. Mm-hmm. So besides that, I also found out that all of the streets of Washington lead to the Capitol.
Oh, cool.
I know. That's cool.
That's a lot.
And then I got another one because it was there.
Yeah, because there's a lot.
There's a lot. Lastly is that they have a spy museum.
A spy?
A spy museum. A museum about
If there was
spies.
going to be a spy museum, it would be in Washington, D.C.
¿Y sabes qué? Que eso me dijo Alex, my husband. Me dijo, if there was a museum, it would be Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're right. And I thought that was really cool. They had pictures of it online.
I want to go.
Same. Se miraba por muy
How far is
interesante.
Washington, D.C. from here?
I don't know.
Like 2 hours?
I don't know.
Probably not that far.
No.
New York is like 3.
New York is 3 hours, yeah. About 3.
Yeah.
Unless you're going Spirit y te paras en cada pinche lado.
Or where you don't have money. And then you have to have a whole bunch of layovers.
Por eso te digo.
Yeah, a whole bunch
spirits.
of layovers. Yeah. Not just Spirit. It's in any airline.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I mean, it's cheaper, pero te va a llevar from one way, like one end to another. Like, damn,
you're
shit.
like, I'm going for a weekend, and then you only spend one day there because
you're
the
like,
other day.
I was on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, in the air. So today's story is, I know that todas las historias decimos que están bien tristes, pero...
And that they shouldn't have happened.
Sí.
Yeah.
Pero this right here just kills me because it's another one of those things that you're like, why? Like we said last episode, why? Necesito que alguien me explique. Que alguien me explique. It's just young people just killing each other for no reason. So, and they have a bright future. Like I keep saying so because I want to start, but it just remembers that, like, me acuerdo.
It comes to you.
It's like, pobrecito, like, anyway, you understand why. Very sad. So, once again, I don't have to say that. The murder. Latisha was, AKA Pooh, is what her family called her.
Okay.
And she was born on October the 3rd of 1991.
She's my age.
Yeah. I know. Not only that, according to her parents, her mom's name was Caroline. She was a tomboy. She was always outside playing with all the neighborhood kids and playing all the sports. Ella no andaba jugando con Barbies ni nada de eso. She wanted to
be outside.
Sports. Sí. So it was said, and one of the videos that I was watching, I read that her dad was a ice cream truck driver.
Okay.
So ella would go and ride the ice cream truck with him so that he can spend time with him.
Oh,
yeah, it was
because he was working.
Because he was working, but she was able to ride with him and kind of had a moment, you know?
Yeah.
Everything was going well. When she was in high school at 18, she ends up pregnant.
Okay.
And she had a little girl by the name of Diamond. Mm-hmm. Like diamonds in the sky.
Yeah.
Not related to Rihanna.
Diamonds are forever.
Diamonds are forever. Now, you would think that because of Latisha's age, she was young, obviously.
Yeah.
She wasn't responsible or she would not be a good mother. But contraire, oui. I just spoke French, okay? Déjame en paz.
I was like, wait, where are you going with this?
Yes,
what?
contraire. You know, I thought it was Ratatouille. Anyway, so Latisha was very responsible, like I was saying. According to her family, she wanted to become someone and she really wanted to have a future for her daughter and for herself. She did live with her mom and her sister at the time.
Her dad was not?
In the same house, everybody lived there. Apparently, her dad wasn't there. I'll explain a little bit. Latisha decided that she wanted to go to culinary school. So the closest to that, while she went to school, she needed to have a job. So she started working, and she actually started working at McDonald's. Mm-hmm. So when she was there, she felt like maybe she could put herself in a path of, food. So maybe she would.
Oh, okay, because culinary school.
Culinary school, yeah. Cuando empezó el trabajo, she was at McDonald's and she was working. Everybody was talking about how hardworking she was. And after she got this job, she was able to get her own place. Mm-hmm. So hasta she even got her boyfriend and everything. She was trying to move on with her life and she was doing well. The thing with her is that she would take the same bus every single day. Y se miraba el autobús, el bus stop, enfrente de donde trabajaba. So right there at the McDonald's, you could see where she would walk out y se subía al autobús. So everybody would watch her leave almost every day.
And then get on the bus.
Mm-hmm. So something happened on August the 2nd of 2010. Ms. Latisha did work that day, as she usually would. But it got late and she wouldn't answer her phone. They called her again and she had not picked up Diamond yet. So they start calling her and they're like, okay, something is not right. Her mom is starting to worry. And she was very close to her sister. And her mom and her sister were like, okay, this is not right. Not like her. On the night of the second is when they were like, okay, well, if we can't call her, no nos contesta, her phone kept going to voicemail, maybe we can reach her through Facebook. You know how sometimes you can log on or something? So they figured they could do that because after that, ya no sabían qué más hacer, On one of the episodes of the IDs, this is where I found this case was on ID. It was like 3 a.m. one night and it was playing and then I couldn't go to sleep because I kept watching it. The sister said that she was like, she's not answering. Maybe she can get somewhere and get some signal. Maybe she can tell us by Facebook message that she was okay. That's what they were hoping. So they started to try to get information to see if maybe they can find out where she's at. Pero by this time, it's already August the 4th. Han pasado 2 días. Y after many attempts, they didn't hear from her. So no ha llamado, no ha venido, nothing.
Nobody has seen
her. Obviously, the first thing that they said was, okay, she's a runaway. That's what the police said.
That's what they usually say, yeah. Absolutely.
And so her family was like, no, that's not like her. She has a daughter. Diamond is her life. Like, there's no way.
She was working. She had plans.
She had plans. She wanted to go to school. Like, she dropped off her daughter que iba a regresar por ella, you know? So she did drop her off with her mom. Like, her mom would take care of her for her.
Like a regular day. Yeah, like she would any other day.
Yeah, like she would. They were like, no, there's no way that this could happen. So after that, the police kind of gave them the run around, which is what happens when you're not from a very safe place.
Neighborhood.
As always, they were having a hard time with them listening. They end up talking to the police again. Like, literally, in the video, there's a video of them, and you can see how her whole family, I mean, her mom, her dad, her uncle, her sister, like everybody was at the police station begging them to please help them find Latisha, right?
Oh, my God.
They started, okay, we're going to go ahead and help. Cuando le dio su pinche gana, right?
Pero ¿cuántos días ya habían pasado by this point?
At this point, they get Detective Jackie Milton. So Miss Jackie Milton was the detective that was going to take the case, right? She went to McDonald's and she's like, hey, I need a question. Because that's where she was last seen.
Yeah.
So she goes to the McDonald's and they started by telling her, obviously, they started saying, hey, does she have somebody that hates her? Have you guys seen her be in trouble? Anything like that.
Novio.
Yeah. They said that Latisha did not have any enemies that they could tell. She didn't have any problem with the customer or anything like that. And that she had left just like every other day. The only thing was that they did notice that Latisha was accompanied by a male to the bus stop. They were like, okay, who is this male? Right. At this point, they were able to actually track down the bus because she would regularly actually get on the same bus. They tracked down the bus.
Route. Es la misma ruta.
So es la misma ruta.
Do you know if it's the same driver all the time?
At this point, it was.
Okay.
So then because I guess it's the time of the day. So based on what I knew, mi tío was a driver. So he would drive the same bus every day at his route. So let's say como que era de 7 a 7. So de 7 de la mañana, and let's say that the route was from here to A to B.
Yeah.
Then he would always drive that
for those
back
hours.
and forth for those hours, you know? So I'm guessing it was because they were able to track down the bus, and they did talk to the bus driver. And they were like, hey, did you see anything different? They were like, he said, excuse me, or she, I'm not sure if it was a bus driver. They did once again say she was with the young man that day. They remember seeing her, but that when they got off, she got off first, and then he got off later off at another stop. So no se bajaron juntos.
Pero llegaron juntos.
Se subieron juntos, pero no se bajaron juntos, right? So they found out from the family that the young man that fit the description was in fact, and the bus driver's description was in fact Latisha's boyfriend. His name was Renell Mills, or his name is. And the boyfriend said that once again, yes, she got off before he did. And according to him, she was supposed to meet up with some friends.
Okay.
This is what he was kind of giving them as a part of what he knew. The police did an interview to the supposed friends that she was supposed to meet. And no, they said they didn't know anything about her. Apparently, all of them said that she never made it to where they were supposed to meet.
So they were supposed to meet her.
They were. According to them, they said that, we were going to meet, but she never made it here. Yeah. So we don't know where they would be. So her mom and her sister started making flyers. And when I tell you that they were out there on the streets, pasando papeles, like putting them everywhere.
Her picture.
Like pictures and everything, asking. And they were like doing the detectives' work because, they were just very worried and concerned because at this point, dejó la niña, right? So then what they did was, you know what? They wanted exposure. They did actually contact ABC7, which is a local news there in DC. While they were doing that, it's crazy because they have a camera while the mom is scouring the streets of where supposedly she was supposed to meet her friends. And then it was like an apartment complex. And she's out there, asking people, whatever. And during the interview, one of the people that were in the interview and that the mom was talking to, and he greeted the mom, was a guy by the name of Brian Ganther. And he led her into his house and was like, come in. You can see that she's not here. Everything. Because that was the house that they were supposed to meet at.
Oh, okay.
So then she goes in, y la señora sale, and she looks at the camera straight up, and she's like, she's not here.
Yeah.
So then when she's walking away, the guy kind of like hugs her, and she gives him a flyer, and she walks away. Nothing to it. That was it. The saddest part was like her mom was so distraught that she kept bringing it up, and it was just, they were very, very, very like adamant about finding her. In October, whenever Latisha's birthday came around, so this is from August to October, when Latisha would have been only 19. I mean, she was a child, basically. They celebrated by giving more flyers out. Like that was they were like, no, we're going to find her, whatever they could to find it.
Her.
One day, they do find out that people in the neighborhood were noticing that the pictures and flyers of Latisha that were being hung up, they were being torn off.
In the neighborhood. Donde vivían.
Where she was putting up the flyers, like ahí donde según they were going to meet. Because everybody was like in the same surrounding area. So they started noticing that somebody was tearing them off.
Okay.
So they're like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, that's a red flag, right? Not only that, but Latisha's sister also started to get threatening messages on social media. So they had a Facebook, and someone had opened an account with Latisha's middle name. Her last name.
So they had an account like to help find Latisha?
No. Somebody opened a whole...
No, pero the sister.
Yeah, no, it was just her account.
Oh, like her personal account.
Yeah, her
personal account. Yeah.
So they go and I guess they were like following her. I don't know how that works. Y entonces, they ended up finding out that somebody was actually following her, and then they were sending nasty messages to the sister. And I'm not talking about like...
Oh, fuck you, bitch. No.
Like, you're gonna die. Like that kind of shit.
Like threatening and stuff?
Yeah. First of all, somebody that knows her middle name knows who she is.
Right.
And so...
What was her middle name?
Wait. I knew you were going to ask me that. And I forgot to write it down. I think it was like...
Monique?
Yeah, Monique. Monique. I knew it was with the name. I wanted to call her Madeline. So it was her middle name and Frazier. And they said a few things that, I mean, it kind of meant that they probably knew her, like I said, or personally, or her disappearance. They had to know something, right? And so the messages that were sent to Latisha's sister, it was telling her how they needed to stop looking for Latisha. On January the 13th, 2011, they received a message that said, this is what it said, and I quote, "Your sister is dead and gone. I am watching you, one dead and more to come."
What the
end
fuck?
Quote.
That sounded like a very morbid Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss? Because that rhymed.
You said Dr. Seuss.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's move on. So the messages were like really aggressive. Like they were not nice.
Like what was the reason?
Like there was no reason for that. And why were they sending that? So at this point,
like that, you're okay. How are you going to tell somebody to stop looking for their fucking loved one? Fuck you.
I mean, you don't know what I'm going through. Leave me alone. And I'm not hurting you. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So
because they went out of their way to create a new page, Facebook page with her name. Like, why did it have to pick her name?
Not only that, but they also brought up the fact that the flyers were being torn
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that would know, I mean, you would have to know the area so that you can know that this is happening. The messages were a lot of them. It wasn't like one or two. It was to a point where I saw Latisha's sister say that she was really threatened. Like she was scared because they were really, really aggressive.
They wouldn't stop.
Yeah, and they wouldn't stop. What happens? They go to the police with this information and they were like, well, then the police, you know, were like, well, then if they know something is what happened to her, they must know that they either somebody has killed her, which they didn't want to think that, or is she hurt? So they were like, we need to find who's sending these messages, right? At this point, the family and the detectives were working on the case and they wanted to know who this person was. They did find the IP address. And when they went to go and look for it, it was nothing. There was nobody there.
What?
It was just a lot. Nothing was there.
Huh.
Yeah. So whoever was doing that obviously was using, they knew what they were doing. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. On January 20th, 2011, the local news that, like I said before, ABC 7, was contacted by her family. Because of the time that had gone by, the family asked them to make another, segment for Latisha. Because they had not received any information.
Like no actual leads.
And the thing is, like, by this time, after the IP address, they went dry, like no information for a while.
Y ella se perdió que en agosto y era enero.
Ya era enero y no había nada. Like there was nothing. They were like, we didn't know where to start. She didn't have any enemies. Everybody was like, we haven't seen her. So they didn't know where to start.
So algo le pasó de cuando she got off the bus to walk to where she was supposed to meet up with her friends.
And it wasn't that far.
Yeah.
So they put out there, hey, if there's anybody out there, if you can please give us some information of what happened to Latisha. And here's what happened. After a few hours, after the news report came out on TV, they received a tip. There was a witness all of a sudden. Yes. So this witness said, on the day of the murder, Brian...
Oh, a murder.
Yeah.
They said that.
On the day of the murder, and let me tell you why. Brian Gaither, I can't say his name. It's Gaither or something like that.
How do you spell it?
Gaither. Gaither.
I guess.
Brian Gaither. It doesn't matter. He's a dick anyway. Had come out of his apartment, and the same apartment where...
They were going to meet.
That was his apartment. And...
With other friends, right?
With all the friends. And where he told his people,
the mom
and everything,
todo,
it wasn't there. She's not here.
Yeah.
And he just come out and told them, I just killed somebody. You're chilling out there and this guy comes out. Yeah. The witness said that they asked Brian, what are you talking about? What the fuck? And that he said, yes. And I quote, I killed Tish, which is Latisha. And that he had killed her because...
He just straight up went out there and told them that.
Because I guess they're like, platicando
afuera, like in the little hallway or whatever.
Little hallway or in how back in the day we used to sit on the stairs to talk. So I guess they were just there. I don't know. And so he just busts out telling them this shit. Just be like, yeah, I just killed her. So he just starts spilling the fucking beans after that. He tells them, I killed her. And he described what happened afterwards. He said that when Latisha got to the apartment, there were 6 people there, and that there were 3 women and 3 males. And that the 3 women severely beat Latisha.
What?
Yeah. They were like, well, why?
Then the witness is telling the police this.
Yes, the witness is telling the police this.
That guy
Brian said that he had killed Tish, and that there were 6 people in the room and an apartment, and 3 males and 3 whatever it was, and 3 males and 3 females, and the 3 females had beat Latisha. And so then they asked him why, like what happened, and he's like, "Oh, it's because he stole money from my friend." She stole money from my friend.
What?
And so not him though, his friend.
And okay, and you had to. So he killed her because of that?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna get there.
Oh, okay, sorry.
According to the witness, Brian also said that he had finished Latisha off.
Oh.
I don't know. But he didn't really tell her what he did or why or where was she. Nada. It was just kind of like a vague thing. So then after that, after they told the story, they all went inside of his house apartment while being there. And the witness said he did see there was 3 females and 3 men. And that one of the males told her, if anybody says what we talk about here, you will be next.
Let's take a quick break.
Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser! He's gonna shoot!
Oi! Shot fired.
Stay out! You got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
So that's why nobody came out to say anything at the very beginning when she went missing and stuff.
Yep. So this was...
if it's true.
If it's true. Because, think about it. The police has been looking for someone, and...
Or a lead.
The witness is saying now that the people that were...
No, because they asked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now the police is like, wait a minute, you're telling me that this whole time we've been looking... The mom has putting up flyers and all of that.
Yeah.
And these people that had done it was right under our nose, basically.
Because le fueron a preguntar and they told them, she's not even here. La mamá entró al apartamento. He even fucking hugged her, you said.
Look, I even have a picture because I was like looking at the at the video. And I had took a picture of it to where that's Latisha's mom. And that's him at the door of the apartment. And then this is the people that were asking him questions.
On all the fucking news and shit.
On the news. Like, on the actual reporters were there and shit. And right there, he's telling him code. So she comes out and she looks at the camera and she's like, she's not in there. And then he comes out and he
looks like Lucius.
He does look like Lucius. Free Lucius. Anyway, now they go to the apartment just to make sure that they were going to verify where the apartment was and also
just verify what the witness said, right? They have to follow up on the lead.
Yeah. So while they were there, they have a second witness come up.
While they were there?
While they were there.
Okay.
Her name was Cynthia Proctor. And Cynthia actually was like, okay, I'll go with you to the station and I will talk. Now, all of this person right here, she talked to them without asking for a lawyer. Yeah, I'll talk. I don't mind. So no one asked for a lawyer. Everybody was just saying conversations as they do.
Having conversation.
Excuse me. Cynthia told the police that she was approached by the male suspects that were in the apartment, telling her that if she could come over to the house and jump somebody.
Oh.
Yeah. And get a couple of friends for them to help her.
Oh.
Jump this person. So she claims that on August the 2nd, she went over to Brian's apartment and she was a part of beating Latisha.
Okay, so that part did happen. Or she's corroborating what the witness said.
Exactly. Now, the reason you ask, they wanted to jump her because of what? The witness said that the gentleman told them that Latisha had stolen money from one of them.
Okay.
So then we go, that second people saying, 2 more people. Another person talking about the money stolen. Cynthia goes on to say that they were 3 women and they were in the apartment. They begin to jump Latisha when she gets there. And then she said that eventually they stopped beating Latisha. And the 3 of the women go out of the room.
Y se quedó ella en el cuarto.
Se quedó Latisha with the 3 males, and the 3 males started beating her.
Oh my God.
It seems like she was obviously trying to fight back, but there was no way.
But why? Did she actually, are you going to get, not that it fucking matters, but did she steal money?
Hold on.
Oh.
So then apparently they taped her mouth shut afterwards, and they put her hands behind her. Mm-hmm. They gagged her, obviously, and they threw her in a closet. What the fuck? Then they tried to clean up the blood. After that, she's saying, Cynthia, that some of the males that came out of the room, they all came out, and one of them said that Latisha was dead. So a few time passed by, and somebody came out the room and said she was dead. So Cynthia is now, she's like, I don't know what happened to her body. Se está limpiando las manos. I have no idea. On the same day, Brian was also arrested.
The same day that
Cynthia is talking.
Okay.
Cynthia Proctor is talking. So Brian's arrested because of his involvement. Mm-hmm. And when they arrest him, they asked him, hey, once again, he's like, yeah, I'll talk. No problem.
Without a lawyer?
Without a lawyer.
Okay.
They don't mind. So they asked him questions. Then the detectives were surprised because, once again, he was okay to talk to them. He's like, sure. And not only that, but he did tell them exactly what happened. He admitted that he was there and he did hit Latisha twice. He also admitting that he put her in a chokehold.
Oh.
He says that when he let her go, she was still alive. Mm-hmm. But that didn't mean that they stopped beating her. Mm-mm. So Brian tells detectives that he kept the body for 2 days in an apartment. Then after 2 days, they took it out to the dumpster at the apartments.
What?
The next day, the dumpster had already been emptied. So he went to go look and the body was gone. So all of this started to make kind of sense. Like, okay, all of these 3 people are kind of saying the same story, but we're not kind of sure if it's
actually accurate.
Exactly what happened, right. But at least they're coming around to something. Now they were like, okay, for some reason, why are they talking? Like, it was just crazy because they were just talking, and they kind of were telling the police that they couldn't take, like the girls were like, we couldn't take the guilt anymore. Like, we needed to say
they
what
had a
happened.
Conscience.
Oh, I know. I don't believe none of that shit, but whatever. A few days later, they did arrest someone by the name of Lawrence Susan, which is also someone that was at the apartment. So that makes Brian Lawrence, right? Mm-hmm. Cynthia has said there was another 2 girls. So it's Brian Lawrence, and in a minute we'll talk about the other one.
So la witness that initially called, ella estaba fuera, right?
Ella estaba fuera.
Okay.
She wasn't
inside the apartment.
She wasn't inside.
Okay.
He said he was also at the apartment. Because he talks to them without a lawyer.
¿Quién?
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's Lawrence and Brian were both at the apartment.
So falta otro guy.
Sí, falta otro guy. And that on that day, Johnny Sweet, that makes 3. So Johnny Sweet, who is another person that was also at the apartment, discovered that he was missing $900. How the fuck do you discover you're missing? Like, how the fuck does that happen? I'm like, oh, there's $900 missing.
Oh, let me count my money.
Yeah, you know, like, what the fuck?
Let me count my $1,000 y nomás abres el cajón and there's only $100.
Yeah, like,
y te falta 900.
900.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Lawrence says that they did call Latisha, apparently, according to him, and that Latisha said, yes, I took the money.
What? I'm not going to believe anything that's coming out of their mouths.
Obviously. So their plan was supposed to be to bring her to the apartment and beat her up to teach her a lesson. Se creen maestros. Mm-hmm. And
cero conducta and shit.
Yeah, cero conducta for sure. For them to teach her not to be stealing money from people. Oh, they were
okay.
Honest, como honest Abe.
Yeah.
Okay. He also stated that there was another person, which was by the name of Natasha.
So that makes another girl.
That makes 3 girls. So there's 3 girls at this point and 3 boys, or 3 gentlemen.
Men.
They said that the girls were there at the apartment and that they were all going to hang. They tell them when she walked in, hey, let's go in the room because we're going to hang out in the room. When they get there, when they go to the room, she said that the 3 girls started beating her. But this is what kind of like, for some reason, it made the hairs in the back of my neck stand up because she said that one of the men or one of the jackasses stand in front of the door. Como para que no se fuera a salir.
Like if she got away from them or whatever.
And that fucking made my stomach turn for some reason. Like just imagining the fact that There was...
Or she might have.
Like, maybe. You don't know. After they beat her, they put tape over her mouth. Once again, they did say that again.
And then they left?
Yeah. Well, she said that they put a pillowcase over her head as well.
¿Las mujeres?
No, the men did.
No, that's what I'm saying. But the girls beat her up and then they left.
They left. Como que se cansaron.
They're like, oh, we're done.
I'm done. And they left. And so then they...
The men win.
The men beat her up. But like... I guess I read somewhere where it wasn't like just like a beat up, like they were stomping on her head. Like it was bad. So they put her in the closet, but tied up.
Yeah.
But they were able to hear that Latisha was still moaning in the closet. So Brian gets up and went back in the room, and that's when he puts Latisha in the chokehold. And he stated, so this is what Lauren states, and I quote, that Brian said, "She finally shut up." They did put her back in the closet because I guess apparently she finally shut up according to them. They proceeded to watch a movie and order food.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So
this cannot be if this is true, this cannot be the first time that they fucking do something like this. There's no fucking way.
Wait a minute, because it gets even crazier. So they did arrest Johnny Sweet, the person that was accusing Latisha of stealing the $900. They were kind of trying to piece everything together. So based on what they did, they made a conclusion that Johnny was the one that was telling everyone what to do. Like he was the mastermind.
Well, he's the one that he was like, hey, she stole my money. We need to teach her a lesson.
Yeah. So essentially he was
the mastermind.
The mastermind, or, Pinky, he was the brain.
Yeah.
The police were able to put together what happened to Latisha on August the 2nd. I'm going to say exactly what they think is what happened, or based on what they were saying to them and they put together. So Latisha goes to work, and after she's done, she's supposed to hang around with her friends. They offer Latisha a drink when she comes into the door, and she declined. She said, I don't want a drink. And Johnny Sweet puts, hey, come on, Latisha, we're going to go in the room. So when she goes in the room with them, that's when she gets surprised by a very bad beating from the girls. There's blood everywhere and all kinds of disgustingness. They then leave her in the room and go watch a movie and, like I said, order food. After that, they proceeded to have the girls give them massages and discuss what they were going to do with the body. Apparently, someone went to go check on Latisha, and that's when they discovered that she was dead. And they left the body of Latisha in the closet for 2 days after she was dead.
What?
Not only that, but it was, and I'm laughing because I'm nervous or it makes me uncomfortable. But while one of the guys, the males that were there, his brother was sleeping in the room. And he didn't know that Latisha's body was in there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. After 2 days, they took the body out of the room and put her in the restroom.
What?
Let me tell you why. They tried to dismember her.
No.
They put her in the tub. They tried, but they were using kitchen knives.
Oh.
And by what we know.
No.
By what we know.
Yeah.
Kitchen knives is not going
to cut it.
To cut up a human body.
No pun intended.
No,
sorry.
For real. I'm sorry. They also couldn't go through it. They tried. They just couldn't. So now they put half mutilated body in a container, and they took her to the dumpster. Mind you, all these people were interviewed
initially at the very beginning.
Yes.
And they said that nothing.
They had no idea what had happened to her the whole time. I mean, it's just crazy to me that they actually had exactly who had done this to this poor girl. Like, just the fact that...
She was 18.
She was 18 years old.
She was barely going to be 19.
So at this point, they needed to find a body so that they can have a conviction, right? For the murder. But it was based on what they were saying, and maybe they kind of had an idea that, yes, the body was taken to the dumpster. So there was no way that they could go through a dumpster, especially... Yeah. And so they go back to the apartment to try to find some evidence. The floor was cleaned up. And the carpet was cleaned.
Well, because a lot of time had passed by now.
Yeah. They could tell that there was a little bit of a difference between the carpet, like something had happened at that area, but it was clean. So they decided to do luminol to see where the blood was. And obviously, the blood was all over the tub, in the restroom, all over the floor, all over everywhere.
Where they try to fucking dismember her.
Yeah, but luminol cannot give you a DNA sample.
Right.
So they said, well, they're at this point, well, we need to have something
that will, like, physical evidence.
Yeah. So what did they do? They tore up the flooring. So they can clean the top of the flooring, but they can't clean the bottom.
Right.
When they tore up the flooring, there was a crack in between the tub and kind of like the floor and the baseboard. And when they did that, they were able to see that there was blood there. Because you can't clean all the way to the bottom. Because people are not
that bright.
They took some of the sample of the blood on the bottom. So they go back to the family and they say, we need some DNA from her. Because we need to make sure that we can connect this. Yeah. Well, the family didn't have anything. They were like, we got rid of everything. We just couldn't bear to see like her toothbrush or her brush or whatever
that's what I was about to say. Un peine pa'l pelo.
Or like something like your toothbrush or maybe a veces también. I don't think that's about it, no? What else can they use? That's it.
Like your hairbrush or your toothbrush. Or not even your toothbrush.
So, and then she didn't live there. She lived in an apartment by herself. But they had something that nobody counted on. Diamond.
Oh, yeah, her daughter. Her daughter, I'm sorry.
So they took Diamond's DNA. And after comparing it to what they found under the flooring, it was concluded that it was a positive match to Latisha. With that, they were kind of worrying once again because they didn't have a body. But then we go back to the same thing. They didn't have a problem with that because they all pleaded guilty.
Oh, they did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All of these people that I'm about to mention pleaded guilty and they all got plea deals. So I'm going to tell you who got arrested and how old they were. So Brian Gaither was 23 years old.
He looked fucking 37.
For real. Anika Nelson was 16 at the time.
No way.
Lainey Bell was 17. Cynthia Proctor was only 18. And Lawrence Sussan was 22. I know. That I was like, what the fuck?
And Latisha was 18?
Yeah. And the corporate of everything, which was Johnny Sweet, was 17 years old, Estela.
You said the corporate?
No, what did I mean to say? The person that did all of this. ¿Cómo se dice? Ya la cagué. ¿Cómo se dice?
Mastermind?
The mastermind. The pinky, the brain.
Yeah.
Not Pinky, but the brain. He was
barely a brain.
Barely. He was 17. Yeah.
I don't know why in my mind, I knew Latisha was 18, but I don't know why I thought that these other people that you were speaking of were like in their 20s or something, late 20s, maybe even 30s. What the hell? So
all of them got like plea deals and all of that stuff, but
in the 16-year-old still a minor?
Yeah, but they were all charged with murder. So I don't know how that worked out, but I will tell you in a minute. But the only one that didn't, hasta eso, fue pinche Johnny Sweet. Porque él dijo que he was going to go to trial.
Oh, okay. Go to trial, man.
Bruh, try.
Okay. He
goes to trial, pleaded not guilty, and in April 2013, Johnny was convicted of murder and sentenced to 52 years in prison.
Yeah.
Right? Brian received 32 years. Lawrence received 18. And the three girls also received jail time. Cynthia Proctor received 21 years and Lena Bell received 3. The one that didn't come up for us to see how many years she was the minor. So we don't know how many years she received.
Wow.
But that is the story of Latisha Frazier.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I just don't understand.
Over what? Over what?
$900 that supposedly she stole. But if you think about it, Latisha was the only one that had a job.
Yeah.
All of them were just sitting doing nothing.
Yeah.
And she had a job. She had her life together.
Why would she do that?
There was no reason.
Do you think that somebody else, like within the friend group, or one of the guys le robó el dinero?
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know what it could be, pero all I know is que esta pobre muchacha, like just the matter of how she died is just so crazy to me. And I guess it como que me llamó la atención.
They never found her body?
Mm-mm, they never found her body. They still haven't found it. I was looking up and I saw online that I think recently they thought that they had found something, but they think that...
So they think that she was at a dumpster?
At a dumpster. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they think he did throw her in that container.
In the trash. And then the trash got picked up by the waste management.
Yep. Or whatever they have in DC.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I know. This one was hard for me because just to read the details, I feel like I wanted to make sure that we spoke about everything because I want her to get everything out there so people can know how horrible this story is. And please don't think your friends are your friends if they're not your friends. Like she thought she was going to go chill.
And she had obviously hung out with these people before. So why now?
And I read in one, or I heard, or I read in one of the places that I don't remember what, because I read in so much that I think she even had brought them food from work. Like, I just can't. I don't know. Please let us know what you think. If you think, I mean, what can we think, dude? Like, this is crazy. She literally was beat to death and then choked to death and then left in a room for 2 days. Like, did she deserve that?
And they're trying to dismember her.
But also, they were saying that when her mom went in there and he was like, come in, she was still in the room. She was still in the closet. Yep. She was still in the closet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or somebody knows where her body. Where they're saying that they threw her.
They say they threw her in the dumpster. So I mean, but what was mind blowing to me is the ages of these kids. Like, literally, Estela. I mean, 22, 17.
Dude, you still have, like you said earlier at the beginning, todavía tienes toda la vida por delante, and then you fuck it up
for $900 that your friend says that you don't even know if it's true.
Yeah.
Like, ¿cómo sabes que sí se lo robó?
Wait, and then first of all, if your friend tells you, me robaron $900, we need teach this person to listen, I'd be like, no, that's not my fucking problem.
Not only that,
you want to go call the police?
Hey, make a report.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck you want me to do? Beat up somebody? Hell no. That's just me. But, that's why we're not criminals.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, I'm going to stay right over here.
I'm going to go home.
Yeah, I think it's time. Me habla mi mamá.
Yeah.
Ya me está hablando.
The lights are out.
Yeah,
the lights are on outside. Ya me voy a mi casa.
Anyways, thank you so much for listening one time again on our 50th episode. 50th? How do you say?
50th.
50. So please let us know how we're doing. And if you would like to make a comment or let us know or send us a DM, you can DM us on Instagram at
Cafecito and Crime Pod, or you can send us an email too.
cafecitoandcrimepod@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening, and you guys have a wonderful day, night, wherever you
are.
And whatever you're drinking. Salud.
Adios.
Bye-bye.